Hi, brother teacher again. Is it lawful for us as human beings, as people, to judge or make judgments? Yes, it is. We can indeed make judgments or pass judgment or cast a judgment. We do it all the time. Have you ever made a decision whether or not you should take a job? You made a judgment. Have you ever made a decision whether or not your son or daughter should date someone? You made a judgment. You passed a judgment. When your child tells you that they want to go out of town, and you thought that maybe it was not going to be a wise thing to do, or it was possibly going to be unsafe, you made a judgment. We make judgments all of the time. Now let me tell you this. There was an individual that responded to one of my videos, and I didn't dignify it by trying to find out which one it was. He put his response on a video that was not even related, I believe. But anyway, he told me the last time he read or saw somewhere that we're not supposed to pass judgment. And he's talking to me. I've never passed judgment on anyone from the standpoint of having a heaven and hell to put anyone in, because I don't have that power, and no human being does. Only God can do that, the Creator. So I wanted to bring out a point about judgment, and I'm going to take you to the book real quick of Matthew chapter 7. Excuse me. Chapter 7, Matthew, King James Version, 1 through 5. Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged, and with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. All that simply means is, don't pass judgment on someone else in a fashion to condemn them when you have your own sins, when you have your own crimes, when you have your own issues, when you have not cleaned your own house up, so to speak. You have no right to pass any judgment to somebody else, because you're not in the position to do that. Only God can ultimately judge someone as it relates to especially salvation. Now, we can judge righteous judgment. I pointed out early on in this video that we make judgments all of the time. If, for example, you saw a man beating a woman to a pulp on the street, she's bleeding, she's defenseless, and you say, I'm going to call the police, I'm going to call 911. You made a judgment that what he was doing was wrong. That's a judgment. You made a decision. I just made a judgment that he was doing something unlawful. That's a judgment. If a doctor tells you that you need a kidney transplant, you're going to think about it, maybe ask for a second opinion, and say, well, I don't want a kidney transplant, let me ask maybe 2 or 3 other doctors. You made a judgment just like he or she made a judgment concerning your general health. That's a judgment. We make judgments, again, all of the time. But in the scripture, St. John chapter 7 verse 24, it says, judge not according to the appearance, judge, or instead judge righteous judgment. You can make a righteous judgment. So for the individual that's making the statement that I'm judging someone as if I have a heaven or hell to put anyone in, which I do not. No, I'm not. But I will judge righteous judgment. So I will call things according to how they actually are, and not how they simply appear. That's the only thing I do. And that's the only thing I have done. And that's the only thing that any of us can do. Judge righteously. This is Brother Teacher. What do you think?